question. Thank you, Magnus Ostrom. That's a really great question. It's all really to do with greens and the use of greens and things.
And juices.
And juices also, or these powdered greens and things. It is amazing that in crackpot test tube science it's possible to find that calcium could be inside something like kale, for instance. But when it's looked at as far as its alkaline to acid balance, you've got enormous amounts of oxalic acid and things in the kale. And then you've got an enormous amounts of pigments and things, and those pigments are tannins, and a certain ability we have to be able to manage tannins, but frugivores for the most part aren't as equipped to manage tannins as what a herbivorous animal is, which can have a longer intestinal tract and things to assist to help to break conjugated and unconjugated tannins down. But those tannins otherwise then would bind with a lot of receptor sites, and they bind with the absorptive cells and things, and they less than allow proper nutrient to be delivered where it's supposed to be, frugivore's intestinal tract. Some green really makes clean, and some green is really amazing. But I think it's possible for people to be overdoing it. For instance, some spirulinas can have a couple thousand parts of phosphate to 1 calcium, especially those grown in man-made estuaries and things, which have quite an acid water, unbelievable. But that's 2,000 parts of phosphate to 1 calcium. That's radical. Short term, somebody could do something and they could have a benefit of some supplement and things, but then how do you take things, and then what quantity of things might you take? That's something which really is a question of itself. But if we could do something as a 4-year-old, for the most part, probably that might be natural. But if it takes more than a 4-year-old to figure out something to do, that might not necessarily really be natural, actually. But berries, we're attracted to blue and red. That's why those colours are the primary colours that are used in a lot of these impulse shops and things. But green is something which humans are not as attracted to as a food colour, but blue and red, kids will jump on that quick smart. But green is something which they're not as necessarily accustomed to. But one can become conditioned to become accustomed to a certain colour and things. But green doesn't necessarily cause salivation and excitement much, but blue and red does, and all frugivores and are drawn more to these colours as well. But some green during the night or toward the end of the day can be very useful, because it can assist a person with their night vision and things. But in excess it can be not so good, because there's got a lot of beta carotene in excess, and as I said, these tannins are a question which you might consider. When we have excess tannins coming in, if you look at the literature, it shows that tannins really do bind a lot with these intracytokine cells, which are the cells which line our passageways of our digestive tract. They also bind with intrachromaffin cells, which actually the cells which produce serotonin, and that binds with all sorts of nutrient and things, less than allowing those nutrients to be able to be absorbed either. So we're able to be able to have a certain amount of tannin, which let's be the bitters and things, and that's useful that we could learn to have some bitter and things. But the idea that one could just live off bitter and things isn't right. There's something not quite right about that. That's all. Typically, the things which are more alkaline forming in the body, though they can have some weak organic acids, they have alkaline elements which creates more slippery and more sweet and more wet. but all of us, we do need some weak organic acids, which is in the berries and things, and especially where I am here, I see such in the forest floor, the lingonberries and the blueberries, which cover the forest floor just before the snow falls and things, which is an enormous amount of berry and things. It's incredible. Anyway, I hope you're having a really great day, Magnus. Thanks for the question.